So next, magnetic field due to circular ring carrying current I. The magnetic field due to circular ring carrying current I. Okay, so in previous case, the current is flowing in the linear conductor. Now the current is flowing in the circular conductor. Now we take three axes, axis 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so this is X, Y and Z. Now I am placing my circular ring in the XY plane. I am placing my circular ring in the XY plane like this. Okay, I am playing. See, please note down that ring is in the XY plane. The circular ring is in the XY plane. Okay. Now, in the circular ring, the current that is flowing on the circular ring is I. The current that is flowing on the circular ring is I. Now, due to this circular ring, current flowing on the circular ring, what is the magnetic field anywhere on the space? Definitely, finally, the magnetic field will be in the Z direction. That can be found out with the help of right hand rule, because in this case, the curling of the finger gives the direction of the current, and the thumb will give you the direction of the magnetic field. Thumb will give you the magnetic of the direction of the magnetic field. So the finally the magnetic field will be in the Z direction. Okay, according to the right hand rule, the magnetic field will be in the Z direction. Okay, so that's why I choose some point on the Z axis. Okay, I choose some point because I know finally my magnetic field will be in the Z axis direction. Okay, so I choose some point on the Z axis. Okay, so my point value is P. P, I choosing some point P here. So what is that point value P? Once if I choose some point on the Z axis, X value is 0 because I am on the Z, rho value is 0 because we are in the cylindrical coordinate system. Rho value is 0 and pi can be anything. Pi can be anything. You are at some height, so we can take it as a height as Z or some value, some realistic value. Say my height is B, Z value is B, 0 comma pi comma B. Okay. Now I choose some small elemental length here. I choose some small elemental length here. Okay, elemental length here. So once if I choose, I should know what is my DL, because you are on the circular line. Your DL is not a simple linear thing. It is going in the circular manner. So that's why your DL is depending on the radius of the circle. Say for example, the radius of the circle is A. Okay, radius of the circle is A. Okay, so radius of the, if the radius of the circle is A, if you choose DL, definitely your DL is depending on A. Okay, A d phi, and that too your current is flowing in the A pi cap direction. A pi cap direction. That's why the DL bar is in the direction of A pi cap. Okay, DL vector is equal to what, sir? A d phi A phi cap. Okay. Now what is this point value? Okay. Now suppose if my point, this point, if I take this point as a Q point, what is this point value? The point value is say the point value, Q point value is A comma, because you are at some radius A, and you are at some value of pi, and Z value is 0. Z value is 0. Okay, so what is actually pi? Suppose if I draw a line here, this will give you the value of the pi. This will give you the value of the pi. Okay, so what is the point Q? Q is equal to A pi comma 0. What is the point P? 0 pi B. Okay, now I have to make a connection between the elemental line and with my observation point. Okay, with my observation point. Okay, from elemental line. I go to my observation point. Okay, this is the direction of r vector. This is the direction of r vector. Okay, so this is the direction of r vector. Okay, direction of r vector. Now first we'll equal to I dl value. Just now we have calculated a d phi a phi cap. Okay, now what is r vector? R vector is simply qp vector. Okay, r vector is equal to simply qp vector. Qp vector is equal to what's our op vector minus oq vector. Oq vector. What is op vector? op p is here. Okay, what is op vector? Pi a pi cap plus b a z cap. This is op vector. What is oq vector? Oq vector is here. Q point is here. So that is a row cap plus pi a pi cap. Once if you find out the difference between these two, you will get minus a minus minus a row cap. Okay, minus a row cap plus b a z cap, because this pi component will cancel because it is present on both vector. This pi component will cancel out, this will present and this will present, but it is having negative sign. So to write it to write in a order, because we have to write first row then pi and z, that's why I'm writing first a row vector. So that's why minus a is here. Okay, so minus a row cap plus b a z cap. Okay, now this is my r vector. Okay, once if I know my r vector, what is the magnitude of r vector? The magnitude of r vector is a square b square. The magnitude of r vector is simply a square b square. What is the unit vector in the direction? Unit vector in the direction is r vector divided by magnitude of that vector. Okay, minus a row cap b a z cap divided by a square plus b square square root. Okay, square root. Now I know what is ideal, I know what is ar cap. So I have to find out what is the cross product of these two things. Okay, what is the cross product of these two things? Okay, cross product. What is the cross product of ideal vector and ar cap vector? Because that will be available in the numerator. Okay, once if you want to finally calculate the magnetic field, this term will be available in the numerator. Before integration, we have to replace this vector by its equivalent value. So we have to calculate ideal and ar cap separately. So what is ideal? Ideal is there ia d pi a pi cap. So ia d pi a pi cap cross product with minus a row cap plus b a z cap a square plus b square square root. Okay, so this term you have to cross a phi cross product with a row cap, a phi cross product with a z cap. Okay, so once the order is rho comma pi comma z. Okay, again pi cross product with row, pi cross product with row is minus z. Already one minus is there, so definitely the first term will be in a z cap direction. Okay, first term will be in z cap. Next, a pi cap cross product with a z cap. A pi cap cross product, pi cross product with z. Okay, pi from pi to z, definitely it will give rho. Okay, and then second component will be in a row cap direction. Okay, this will be in a z cap direction. The next component will be in a row cap direction. That I will write in the next slide. Okay, so okay, so okay, so what is the final value? Ideal ideal AR cap final value is IA square d phi AZ cap plus IAB A rho cap divided by A square plus B square, A square plus B square. Now, once if you observe carefully, see from these two terms, effectively that final answer will be that due to the only the first term, okay, d pi A z cap A square B square, A square B square. Why? Because the final answer will depends on only A z cap. It will not depend on A rho cap, because the reason is, say, if you are having line like this, if you are observing the effect here, suppose if some line is coming in this way, it will have field in this direction, and again some field is coming in this way, it will have field in this direction, and effectively it will have vertical component and horizontal component like this. That horizontal component are in opposite direction, only vertical component adds together. So finally, again, if you see here that horizontal component, similarly if you choose some other point here, symmetric point like this, okay, finally you will get a vector that is in a rotating nature, that is in a rho cap direction. All will cancel each other, all will cancel each other, they will go in opposite way. If you take symmetric points, it will go in opposite way. Only finally the uh, effectively the field is due to the um, uh, due to the component that is present in the z cap, that is present in the z cap. So that's why I can neglect this. Even if you do the integration, finally you will get zero only. Okay, without neglecting, if you are doing the integration as usual, finally you will get zero. Okay, you just try it. Okay, you just try to integrate these terms similarly. Okay, you take the second term separately, you try to integrate, okay, with the limit available with you, then finally you should get zero value. Okay, but by observation, just anyway that will be zero. So that's why I'm not taking that, because already this will be lengthy one, so I'm neglecting that one. Okay, that value will be zero. Okay, so finally I know what is ideal and AR cap, so I can substitute in my equation. um, so what is that equation? My equation h is equal to integral dh. This is again, what is the integral limit? Integral limit, because integral, the line is going in the circular nature, so integral limit is 0 to 2 pi. Integral limit is 0 to 2 pi. So again, 0 to 2 pi. What is dh actually? Dh is actually ideal AR cap, divided by 4 pi mod r square, 4 pi mod r square. Okay, you know what is ideal and AR cap, and you know what is the mod r square. Mod r square is simply is equal to a square plus b square. Mod r square is simply is equal to a square plus b square, because mod r is square root of a square plus b square. So mod r square is simply a square plus b square. Okay, so once if you substitute all the value, okay, so you'll get 0 to 2 pi. Okay, ia square d pi 4 pi a square b square whole power 3 by 2 a z cap. Now finally, if you see that integration is with respect to pi, so remaining and all constant only you can take outside. Okay, ia square you can take outside, and 4 pi a square plus b square whole power 3 by 2 you can take outside. Okay, again finally 0 to 2 pi d pi, again the direction is a z cap. Again integral 0 to 2 pi d phi is simply 2 pi, so in the numerator you will get 2 pi. Okay, again 2 pi 4 pi can cancel each other. Okay, 2 pi 4 pi you can cancel, and simply 2 will come and the remaining factors will come. So finally what is h? Finally my h is, will be like ia square divided by 2 a square plus b square whole power 3 by 2 a z cap. That is my final h. Okay, finalize. Ultimately, magnetic field will be in the direction of z cap direction. Okay, because according to the Right-hand rule, once if the current is flowing in the circulation nature, that do in the direction of curling of your fingers, right hand fingers, definitely your magnetic field will be in the direction of your thumb direction. That is, in this case, that is z axis. In this case, that is z axis. Okay, so that is z axis. Now, suppose in this case, what is B, sir? B means this is A means what? Radius of your circle. A means radius of the circle. B means what? At some height. You are at some height. That is B. You are at some height. That is B. Okay. Suppose if B is 0, what is the meaning? Your observation point is at the center point of the circle. Your observation point is at the center point of the circular ring. Okay. When B is 0, and that means it indicates the center point of circular ring. Center point of circular ring. Okay, when B is 0, center point of circle. Once if you substitute B equal to 0 in the above equation, what happens? You will get H is equal to I divided by 2A, A is at cap. In the exam, they will ask this one. Okay, this is very much important. In the exam, they will ask this only. When a circular ring is carrying the current I, what is the magnetic field at the center of the circular ring? That is simply I divided by 2A, I divided by 2A ampere per meter. Anyway, they will not ask this one because you cannot remember this. Okay, but you should remember this. They will ask this one. H is equal to I divided by 2A ampere per meter. I divided by 2A ampere per meter. Okay, now again I will give you some simple idea to remember this. Okay, after lengthy derivation, we got this result I divided by 2A. Now I will give you some simple idea. Okay. Note, suppose this is the circular ring carrying the current I, and this is another circular ring carrying the current I. I am standing at the center point here, and also I'm standing here. Say again, for simplicity, I is same, but you know that always magnetic field is directly proportional to current. More the current, more the magnetic field. Magnetic field is always directly proportional to the source. Okay, current H is I, but it is inversely proportional to distance. Say for example, if it is A1, in this case, if it is A2, radius of the ring is A2, and it is very clear that the current is same. Okay, but in this case you are very close to the source, but in this case you are far away from the source because the radius is I. So whenever you are far away, definitely your magnetic field has to reduce. So that means what? Your magnetic field is inversely proportional to the radius. Your magnetic field is inversely proportional to radius. Okay, yes. Okay, because suppose if in this case if you are getting H1 at the center point, so if you are getting H2 here, say here H1, here you are getting H2, definitely that H2 will be less than H1. Okay, because the source is at a larger distance, so it is inversely proportional to A. So finally it depends on I and A, but if you have a circular ring, you can be above the ring or you can be below the ring. So so again, that's why 2A, you can be above the ring or you can be below the ring. Okay, that's why I divided by 2A. So this 2 comes because magnetic field can be above or below the ring. Magnetic field can be above or below because either or. That's why 1/2 comes. Okay, 1/2 comes. So this is another simple way to remember the magnetic field due to a circular ring. But one thing is very clear, but always the magnetic field due to circular ring or infinite line carrying the current depends on 1 by A. Magnetic field, please note down. Magnetic field always depends on what, sir? 1 by A. Magnetic field always depends on the 1 by A distance. Okay, not A square. It is simply A. Magnetic field always depends on the 1 by A. 1 by A. Okay, this is something similar to rho s by 2 in case of sheet having the charge, surface charges. What is the electric field above the sheet? What is the electric field below the sheet? This is something similar to that. Okay, so but here anyway it depends on some dimension A, whereas that is independent of the dimension. Okay, so H is always directly proportional to 1 by A, that is inversely proportional to the measurement distance, that is the distance that is measured from the source, that is Z axis. This please note down this. In this case, this A is radius, whereas in the first case that A is a perpendicular distance. I should be very careful, okay, about this one. Okay, so next I'll discuss about the Ampere's law. Okay, next one is Ampere's law. Okay, in case of electric field, we have Gauss law. Similarly, in case of magnetic field, we have Ampere's law. Okay, Ampere's law. Ampere's law, or sometimes they used to mention Ampere's circuital law, like that. Okay, what is the statement? In general, that Ampere law state that the mathematical relation is integral closed line integral H dot dl is equal to I enclosed. Please note down, everything is important. That closed also important. Okay, not a open line integral, closed line integral. Okay, closed line integral H dot dl is equal to I enclosed, because you have to form the surface. If you want to form the surface, you should have closed line. Okay, the surface can be formed with the help of only closed line. Okay, so closed line integral H dot dl is equal to I enclosed. Okay, what is the meaning of this one? Line integral of magnetic field strength around, again I will write down this in a statement. Okay, line integral of magnetic field strength around a closed path is equal to current enclosed by the path. Okay, again the current, for the current, another definition is integral current density into ds. This is another definition for current. Current is equal to integral Jc, the conduction current density, into surface, cross sectional surface. ds means cross sectional surface. Okay, so this is Ampere's law. With the help of Ampere's law, what is the application of Ampere's law? So with the help of Ampere's law, you can calculate the magnetic field nature due to the current. Okay, so first, so what is the application of Ampere's law? You can calculate the magnetic field. For a structure carrying the current I. Okay, so first application is, again before going to that application, we'll illustrate something more here. Okay, so suppose how this formula actually works. Okay, I take some line carrying the current. Infinite line, it is carrying current I. Now I have to form a closed line. Okay, I have to form a closed line. I may form the closed line like this. Okay, I may form a closed line like this. Okay, I can form a closed line in any way. Okay, in the first case, what happens? In the first case, I have formed some closed line. That too, for simplicity, I have formed in a circular nature. You can form it in any way, but for simplicity, I have formed it in a circular manner. Okay, in the first case, for an imaginary circle, that radius is a1. In the second case, for this imaginary circle that radius is A2. That radius is A2 because A2 is greater than A1. That's okay. But in general, what is the magnetic field here? Here the magnetic field is H1. Here the magnetic field is H2. It is very clear that once if you are far away, your magnetic field will reduce. So H2 will be less than H1 because in case of H2, because you are on the imaginary circle, but your circle radius is high. So you are from far away from the source. So your magnetic field will be less actually. Okay, please you should be very clear about this one. A1 is less than A2, whereas H2 is less than H1. H2 is less than H1. You should note down this. Okay. Now I take two cases. Okay, this is the first case. This is the first case, and this is the second case. Second case. Now I compute the integral H1 dl1. Okay, what is my dl? What is actually dl? Dl means what, sir? Dl means I have to go on the imaginary circle. This is my imaginary circle. When I am going on the imaginary circle, what is my magnetic field? You know that magnetic field also will be in the circular nature. You are also going on the imaginary circle, magnetic field also in this direction. Okay, definitely you will get some answer. Definitely you will get some answer because your dl direction, your h direction both are same. Okay, both dl and h direction is same. Both are in a pi cap direction. Both are in a pi cap direction. Okay, similarly here also your magnetic field also will be in this direction only. You are also going on the imaginary circle. So definitely once if you compute this integral, for this integral also you will have some value, say integral h2 dl2. Okay, h2 dl2, you will have some magnetic field. Okay, dl2, definitely you will get some answer. But once if you carefully note down, both the answer are same. Both the answers are same. Once if you calculate this integral, both the integral are same. Why both the integral are same? In first case, what is happening to h? H is high. In first case, h is high. Okay, but my circular length is low. What is my total circle length? Okay, 2 pi a1. That is low, but h is high. In the second case, what is happening to h? H is decreasing, but my length is increasing. H is decreasing, my length is increasing. Okay, so what happens? So one parameter increases, another decreases. Here it decreases and it increases. So that's why in both the cases the answer is same. Okay, both the cases answer is same. Once if it is same, what is the meaning? Once if it is same, I can write like this: integral h1 dl1 is equal to integral h2 dl2. It is same. It should give you some value. That value is I. Definitely it will give you some value. That value is what, sir? I. Because the current is producing the magnetic field. Finally integral h dot dl has to be I. That value is actually I. Okay, so what is h? The direction of h is h magnitude, a pi cap direction, a pi cap direction. What is direction of dl? Direction of dl is for simplicity, for a1 d phi, a phi cap. Okay, a phi cap. Once if you make dot product of h1 with dl1, what happens? You will get definitely a pi cap dot a pi cap. Simply you will get as a 1. Again remaining some answer will come. So finally it gives you some value. It gives some value. That value is what? That some value is what, sir? Current actually. That some value is what actually? Current. Some value is current. Okay, because already you know the direction, because already you know the current direction, but you should find out what is the value of the current, you know. Because once if you know that direction of magnetic field is in a pi cap direction, definitely the current has to be in the z cap direction. You know the direction of the current, you know the direction of magnetic field. Just magnitude you are finally calculating. Magnitude you are finally calculating. Okay, so this is the idea of the Ampere's law. Okay, you take a closed line. You form a closed line in such a way the current is flowing inside the closed line. So and you compute the integral h dot dl. Finally it will give you the current that is going inside the closed line integral, inside the closed line integral. Okay, so we'll proceed further. Okay, so next, so according to Ampere's law, closed line integral h dot dl is equal to I enclosed, and I is equal to integral surface integral jc ds. Okay, so both are same. So so integral h dot dl is equal to c jc ds. Once if you apply Stokes theorem, you apply Stokes theorem. Once if you apply Stokes theorem connects what, sir? Stokes theorem connects line integral into closed line integral into surface integral. Stokes theorem means what? Closed line to surface. Closed line to surface. So you apply the Stokes theorem at left hand side. Only left hand side you apply the Stokes theorem. Okay, it converts the line integral into the surface integral. Once if you apply the Stokes theorem, a closed line integral into open surface, not a closed surface, open surface. Okay, so so integral del cross h ds integral jc ds. Both the side is surface integral is there, so you can remove the integral. So finally you will get del cross h is equal to jc. Generally del cross h is equal to what, sir? jc. Okay, in the beginning itself I told h is having, generally h will be having the circulation nature. H will be having the circulation nature. You can calculate the curl of the magnetic field. Finally it will give you something, that something is what's a current density. Okay, that something is current density. So the curl of the magnetic field will give you the current density. Okay, curl of magnetic field will give current density. Curl of the magnetic field will give you the current density. So this called point form of Ampere's law. This del cross H jc is called as point form of Ampere's law. Point form del cross H is equal to jc. Okay, this is something about Ampere's law basics. Okay, now we'll see the application of Ampere's law. Okay, next one is application of Ampere's law. Application of Ampere's law. So first application is, there are many applications once, but we'll see the first one is how to calculate the magnetic field due to the infinite line carrying the current. So magnetic field, H field due to infinite line carrying current I. Okay, so now I take my infinite line. This is my infinite line. Okay, that line is carrying current I. Now we will not do any lengthy derivation and all. Very simply we will calculate. Okay, this is my direction of the current. I know from my basic experience, once the current flows in this way, definitely my magnetic field would be around the conductor in this way. This is my direction of the magnetic field. Okay, that you should be very clear with. Okay, you do not know what is the magnitude, but you know what is the direction of the magnetic field. Direction you know. Okay, so what is the direction of the magnetic field? So H is equal to mod H. Okay, mod H A pi cap. You do not know the magnitude, but you know what is the direction. Okay, but one thing is you know your mod H, your magnetic field value depends on the how far you are from. Okay, if your imaginary circle is larger, okay, radius is large, definitely your magnetic field will reduce. As okay, as the radius of the imaginary circle increases, magnetic field field radius. So you know that magnetic field depends on radius of the circle, depends on A. Okay, depends on A. So from Ampere's circuital law, integral H dot dl is equal to I. Okay, and again you should know what is dl. Okay, what is dl? Dl means you are moving on this imaginary line. Okay, you take some small element like this, you are going in this direction, so definitely this is your dl. This is your dl direction. Your dl depends on your a d phi and a pi cap. This is your dl. Okay, you know what is dl, you know what is h. If you substitute here, okay, you know both things. So integral, what is h mod h a pi cap. Okay, what is dl? A d phi a pi cap. Anyway, dot product of a pi cap and a pi cap is 1. Okay, and again integral d phi. Okay, integral d phi. And whether mod h depends on what? If it depends on pi, you cannot take it outside. But mod h depends on only a. Mod h depends on a. It is independent of pi. So mod h you can take outside. So mod h you can take outside. A also you can take outside. So what is the remaining things? Integral. Integral close line integral d pi. Okay, d pi and I. Okay, once if it is with respect to pi, you know that the range of pi, that is 0 to 2 pi. Range of pi is 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so a into mod h. Okay, so a into mod h, 2 pi is equal to I. So finally, once if you do the mathematical arrangement, your mod h will become like this. Your mod h is equal to I divided by 2 pi a. Your mod h is equal to I divided by 2 pi a. So what is h? Then your h is I divided by 2 pi a and then a pi cap. Okay, this is the magnetic field due to infinite line carrying the current. Okay, infinite line carrying the current. Simply I divided by 2 pi a. Okay, I divided by 2 pi a. Next, I will move to the magnetic flux. Okay, so and one more thing is I'll give you one assignment. You just try. With help of Ampere's law, you try to calculate magnetic field due to circular ring.